Did you realize that your inner voice, your self-talk, can either help you with stress, with dealing with the stress in your life, or it can make life more stressful for you? It's true that inner voice, when left unchecked, could potentially be a source of the stress in your life. In other words, your self-talk could either translate into something positive, like a nice hug from yourself to yourself, or it can be perceived as a threat. Knowing that, doesn't it make sense that you pay attention to that self-talk and adjust it to be to your benefit rather than to stress you out more? We can take it a step further. Not only is monitoring your inner voice, paying attention to it, beneficial, but you can also make changes so that your inner voice doesn't turn out to be a nagging, stressful inner voice, but rather turns into your cheerleader and even a coach, one that helps you to feel better and be more successful. Let's start by identifying what your inner voice tends to be like. And I understand that we all will vary from time to time, but generally speaking, where does your inner voice tend to reside the most? Is it on the negative side? Is it on the positive side, or somewhere in the middle? If your inner voice tends to be negative, tends to bring more stress into your life, it's time to gain control. If you're in the neutral or positive end of the spectrum, now is your chance to make things run more smoothly and maybe benefit you more than they may already do. Make that inner voice your best ally. Make it into your coach, your personal helper. Let's talk about some of the most common stress amplifying scripts that your inner voice may be embracing and repeating on a regular basis. How about the one where everything is a big deal or everything is a catastrophe? No matter what, the sky seems to be falling. Can you identify with that? Is that what your inner voice may be doing? Maybe once in a while, maybe a little too frequently. How about harsh labeling? Is everything much worse in your inner voice interpretation than it really is? If you make a mistake, does your inner voice make it seem worse than what it is? Is your inner voice harsh and critical of you or maybe others around you? Is your inner voice addicted to urgency or maybe some drama? Is everything an emergency to your inner voice? Think about those. Those are three of the most common scripts that your inner voice may be running, may be embracing. Being harsh or overly critical, making a big deal out of things that are not, and making things into an emergency when they are not or don't have to be. Think about what your inner voice does, how it sounds, and what script it tends to run on a regular basis. This is important. Once you have an idea of what your inner voice tends to do, it's time to replace that script with something that is more beneficial, or at the very least, neutral to start with. Instead of embracing the idea of things being a catastrophe, or being harsh and judgmental, or looking for that emergency or drama, make a conscious effort to replace your scripts, your thought patterns, rather than focusing on the old script. How about saying something like, yes, right now things are not ideal, but I can work on bringing change into the situation, or there are things that I can do to improve the situation. Not only do you not focus on the negative, the harsh, the catastrophe, the drama, but instead you give your focus your energy into empowering yourself by saying, yes, things are not ideal right now, but there are things that I can do. I can do things to move in the right direction. I can make choices that will improve the situation. This is about not giving into that negative script, but rather focusing more on empowering yourself. What can you do to move forward, to move beyond, to fix what's not working, to change what you need to change? If you're feeling stuck, if your inner voice has you stuck, you can replace the script of that inner voice with something such as, even though I'm afraid or even though I'm anxious, I can still take the next step towards where I want to be. This is how you give yourself permission, encourage yourself, and empower yourself. When you find yourself in a difficult situation and your inner voice is replaying that script, reminding you of how difficult the situation is, you can simply acknowledge, yes, this is difficult, but I am capable. I can do this. I may struggle, I may fall, but I can get up. I may fail at first, but I can continue to keep trying, get better, and succeed. Again, this is about empowering yourself to move forward, to move beyond, to get out of being stuck. So how do you put all of this together? Let's talk about some practical ways where you can actually work on replacing negative scripts of your inner voice into things that can help you out, that can benefit you, that can empower you. This can be as simple as a 2-minute daily exercise. Every day, take a couple of minutes. Pick one script that is common for you, whatever your inner voice seems to tell you the most. Pick one of those scripts, whatever that is, and work on restating it, rewriting it, replacing it with something that is neutral or even positive, something that will get you moving forward, something that will get you unstuck if you're feeling stuck. Remember, I gave you those examples of how you can change the script, not by allowing yourself to focus on the old script, but rather adding the new portion of it. Yes, this is difficult, but I am capable. Yes, this is scary or unpleasant, but I can take the next step. I have what it takes. Take 2 minutes a day to identify a thought pattern, an inner voice script that does not serve you, and rewrite it into something that does serve you. And then make sure that you practice it. Remember, practice makes better. Will you forget? Will you make mistakes? Will you go back to the old script? Yes, but you have to keep trying until the new script becomes your new norm. This is how you work your way out of the kind of inner voice that is more of a burden to you, more of a stressor to you, and get yourself to have an inner voice that is your cheerleader, your coach, your helper, your biggest fan. So 2 minutes a day, you can spare 2 minutes a day to make it into a much better experience for yourself. And remember, this is about making sure that your inner voice is not contributing to the stress in your life. So 2 minutes a day, easy, simple exercise, and then practice every time you get the chance. Simple things that you may encounter throughout the day: traffic, parenting challenges, work challenges, whatever you encounter on your regular daily routine journey. Practice a new and improved inner voice script. Give yourself 7 days. Get into the habit of identifying that negative self-talk and rewriting the script and actually implementing it, and see where your stress levels are after 7 days, after 14 days, after 30 days. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. As long as you put in the work, you will absolutely be able to change that inside talk, that inner voice, into something that is no longer contributing to your stress, but rather helping you out and helping you to be less stressed and more empowered. It's a simple practice. Why not give it a try? If you'd like to learn more about a comprehensive approach to stress management, check out the links below.